Incident I-001-1. The reason we don't turn out the lights. Level 3 lab worker Dr. Expunged Wright is the only survivor of I-001-1 incident. And only after 2 months of therapy was she able to relay to us what happened on the evening of Verdact. The following is Dr. Wright's account of what will forever be known to the Bureau as the reason we don't turn out the lights. God, it was awful. So much blood The interviewer, sent from HQ, asks her to start from the beginning. Well, I was doing a mandatory check with Dr. McPhee, a normal check of ICB-001. I opened up the locker and began taking notes. Nothing was unusual about it. Same color, average weight, and the same message that I always see. We were just about to close the locker and report our findings to Redacted when the lights flickered. We looked up and then at each other. Before we could implement safety procedures, the lights went out, completely. During the moment that I couldn't see, I walked backward slightly and tripped over my own feet. When my eyes adjusted, I saw something disturbing and then something horrifying. A man had come out from somewhere. It looked like it was in front of us, from the way he was. The interviewer asks her to describe the unknown man. Well, he looked like he was Caucasian, with short, scruffy black hair, quite eerie blue eyes, and he was wearing the strangest clothing. Pants and a shirt that were black and tapering, I guess. It looked like it was divided into swirling sections every 3 or so inches. I hadn't seen anything like it before. He had somehow jumped on to Dr. McPhee, wrapped his legs around his waist, and started. And I'll tell you, my eyes hadn't completely adjusted to the dark, but it looked like he was kissing him. He was even grabbing the lapel of Dr. McPhee's lab coat. I didn't quite register what was happening and just stayed still. I regret that now. I could have gotten up and helped him. I could have said. The interviewer asks her to remain on track. I'm sorry, I just lost a friend, okay? That's where the horrifying part starts. The man retracted from Dr. McPhee for a moment and looked at him with a strange look. I could only describe it as envy. Then he did something awful. He bit him on the neck. Dr. Wright pauses momentarily and puts her head in her hands. He didn't just bite him. He ripped a piece of flesh from him. Blood gushed and he fell over, but the man didn't move from his body. He started ripping him apart. I was paralyzed for so long that his blood was splattered on my cheek before I could move. I crawled into another aisle of lockers and put my knees to my chest. Though I was crying at this point, I tried to stay quiet, even though the sound of flesh tearing and bones cracking was overwhelming. It stopped eventually, and everything went silent. Then I heard footsteps slowly walking towards me. I closed my eyes as tightly as I could and hugged my knees until the footsteps stopped. I knew he was in front of me. I thought that I was going to die. As I was thinking my goodbyes, I felt a finger on my chin. I willed myself to open my eyes. He was looming over me, other hand on hip, and blood dripping from his mouth. Just needed a taste, was all that he said before the lights turned back on. I could remember he had an accent. He sounded German, I think. I don't know why, of all those things, I remember that, but I do. In the split second where your eyes don't register that a light's turned on, he disappeared. In his place, on the floor in front of me, was the damn cube. In that moment, I realized that he was the cube. He was I-001. I blacked out after that, but I've been told that they sent guards to retrieve us and found Dr. McPhee's mangled body, me huddled in the corner, and that stupid thing. I'm sorry that I couldn't tell you what happened until... The interviewer thanked her for her time and ended the interview here.